The jobs report was out this morning, and really it's kind of a weird one. So Wall Street consensus expectation was way undershot. Wall Street was looking for 500,000 jobs. We got 193. At the same time, we got August revised upwards by 131. So it's really kind of a, you might call it a Goldilocks situation, except not in a good way, where it's like right down the middle. So it just means everything's uncertain. At least for me, the first thing to look at is the Dow Jones, which is completely flat today, which kind of tells the story of nobody really knows what these numbers mean for the economy one way or another. The big long-term question that this might have answered if it went a different direction more clearly was Fed policy, particularly tapering its bond buying program, which, it's all very counterintuitive and complicated. But if the jobs numbers had come in a lot worse than this, then we might have seen the Fed reevaluate its plans to end its bond buying program, which would have been bad for the stock market, or good for the stock market? God, I'm not even keeping it straight myself. Anyway, a worse jobs report might have been better for the stock market. A better jobs report might have been worse for the stock market. But right now, we're basically stuck in the middle, and there's no real clear takeaways here as far as I can tell. We did see analysts basically converging on the idea that this means the Fed is not going to change course, which means that they're going to taper bond buying fairly soon, and we'll maybe cross our fingers, get back to some semblance of actually having a real economy. But that's still kind of a pipe dream. Naomi, I think I want to hear from you first on this one.
Yeah, I'll just mention the good versus bad for the economy thing. I mean, when you have the government printing huge amounts of money, where is that money getting injected? So usually it gets injected straight into the stock market, which is why we just keep seeing all this bad stuff happening in real life, but then you just get all-time highs in the S&P 500. So it makes you question to what degree is this even reflecting what's actually going on in the regular economy? Sure, a bunch of these larger companies are doing really, really well and getting a bunch of money and a lot of kind of handouts. It may be an interesting way to phrase it. Not entirely accurate, but it's interesting to look through it from that perspective. I mean, I agree, David. It is it's a very corrupt system, and I think that it's to the detriment of a lot of really struggling businesses out there. When we talk about all of this quantitative easing that's been going on and all this money that's being printed, and we say, well, it's for the benefit of these people, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I know so many businesses that have gone bankrupt in the last couple of years who actually didn't get the help that they needed from the government, and the people who did, it's a lot of large corporations, or it's handouts to individual people who aren't working, and so because they don't have the jobs, they're getting money from the government, which creates this perverse incentive in the economy where people stop looking for jobs, and then more businesses close down because they can't get any workers there. So just so many things going on right now.
Meanwhile, Tesla is in the S&P 500 for selling green credits, basically. So, that's where we are.
Exactly. But I do love Tesla, so I'm not gonna dump on them. I think they're cool, but yeah, we could dive into that. But I mean, I agree with you completely, David, that this idea that we've kind of moved away from this real economy and we have this very augmented market that has been augmented in so many different ways. It's a very unnatural state of things, and I really do worry about all of this money printing that's going on. When we say that they're thinking of tapering in November, keep in mind they're not thinking of stopping, creating these bonds and putting the money to pay for them. They're not thinking of stopping that at all. They're thinking of tapering the rate at which they're printing these. So there's still astronomical amounts of money that are being printed right now. You got to think about what's happening with that money. It's just not a good situation, and I think that's why a lot of people are in crypto. And as to the piece that we talked about at the top of the show from Zach, institutional players are now looking into crypto instead of things like gold right now. They're looking at crypto because it seems like a good option to kind of counterbalance all of this tremendous money printing. But it's a scary economy right now.
Question that I think our listeners will be most interested in, which is, do we have takes on what this means for crypto markets?
Zach, you want to say that?
Throwing it out there.
I have no take. I think that I'm of the opinion that the linkage between macro stuff and crypto stuff is fairly tenuous. I think a lot of people in the crypto world don't necessarily care about that stuff. I think the money printing stuff seems pretty evident that that's what's fueling a lot of buying of alternative assets, especially high risk ones like crypto. As it relates to the jobs report, I don't know. I don't have a hot take. I don't have any good macro hot takes.